Guys, welcome back to Vince-Vell Custom. So today we're going to start a work in progress video of a Punisher statue that's got a chip in his wrist. So we're going to try to get in a little bit closer here for you guys. Hopefully don't blur it out. There we go. So as you can see, there's a chip here and it's actually cracked around here. So sadly, when you put this hand up in here, let's get this, you can see it's kind of broken still. So now, whenever you get kind of like a paint chip, it's easy just kind of like sanding it down and matching up the paint. But with this one, I actually got to kind of fix this crack going around here because actually you could pretty much pop it out, if anything. It would be perfect if it was just this little tiny chip, but now I see this crack around here. So what I'm going to do is mask him up. I'm going to go into the garage, and then I'm going to kind of drill around here, see if I can kind of salvage this, but I got to kind of fill this in, because even if I just fill this little piece here, it's still cracked down here, so you can still, in essence, would be able just to still pop it out. So it's got to kind of be secure going around. I just know that, if you just go in this angle, like with this by accident, you might just kind of pop it out and break it. So I got to really secure it. So it's just a matter of drilling it out and then filling it with aids and then touching up the paint, but making sure it's secured at the same time. So what I got to do is mask them all off. I'll get a bunch of, saran wrap like I did here with the base. I'll wrap them around. I'll take my time drilling up a little bit around here, and then I'm going to be using a Fix-It sculpt, and we'll go back to that when I'm ready to get all that done. So let's get them masked off and drilled out, and we'll go from there. Alright, so this is A's Fix-It sculpt, and what I did is I mixed A and B together, a small amount. This is pretty much as small as I can usually make it, because it's kind of hard to mix a small batch. Sometimes you got to mix it bigger, but for something like this patch, it's working out. This is a natural color, so this is really good for this repair because I'll be painting skin tone. And A's is really good because you really don't even need primer. Paint sticks to it very well. That's one of the things about A's, which is good. I'm not using a colored A's like the pink or the black that I have because I want to paint skin tone, and it's better to use a natural color. So I'm going to stop the camera. I'm going to get in closer to what I did with the Dremel tool because it's kind of hard to get into there and give it focus. I got to kind of set it up. So let's get focused on the piece that I dremeled out, and we'll go from there. Alright, so as you can kind of see, I did a little bit of hatch work on it. I guess you could do like a staple work. So this is the Dremel tool that I used, and I dremeled out around going toward the crack, and I dremeled out going here and here. So it's going to kind of fill in with A's now. I also did a little bit in the inside, but it's kind of hard to see. But because this piece is like a square peg, what I have to do is fill it in, but you can't just fill it in and then never set this in. So I'm going to have to use some baby powder, and then I'll have to push the hand in and push it out just to make sure that I'm not, when I bubbling it over, because if you fill it in going too much in the inside, you'll never get the hand in. So you got to make sure both are working. So if anything, I'd rather it's pushed outwards a little bit more and then being pushed inwards, because I want the key to work, and then I can sand this down and make it easier. So let's start, getting that all patched up. Alright, I'm going to start pushing this A's in now. It's if the camera starts blurring out, there's not much I can do about it. It's kind of hard to do this while being so close to an item. So I have a little bit of safety solvent on the brush, not much. I'm kind of dabbing off just to give it a little bit of a wetness, because if you put too much safety solvent on, it can actually start pulling the paint. Just kind of want to keep it a little bit dry. It's going to have to be sanded. There's not much I can do about that. We want to keep it, and kind of want to push it in too to get into all the grooves. So if you see a little bit of that lightness coming up, that means that the safety solvent is pulling the paint, but I kind of expected that was going to happen. Grab some more of the A's. Push it into here. Now, like I said, by pushing it this way, it's filling in the inside. So we got to kind of work it both ways here. Now, not really a big deal if the inside is messy. As long as the key's going in, that's all that counts. Because with a lot of kits out there and a lot of stuff, if the stuff you're not going to see, bottom of the feet, it's going inside a base somewhere. If it's messy, it doesn't matter. Okay, so that's looking a little good. Now, just to be on the safe side, what I gotta do is take some. This is why I kind of mask this up. You want to get some baby powder, and I don't want to get the baby powder all over the place, so I put some on my finger. Just kind of. Baby powder is okay because it'll come off the statue. You can use some water and, you know, an empty airbrush and just blow it out. And you do that because this way, when you do this, it doesn't stick. As you can see, it was hitting this here. That's probably why it kind of chipped. But that's going to get sanded anyway. Now, if I didn't use the baby powder and it was very tacky, it would stick to this piece. And that's what we don't want to do. But we're looking pretty good. Hand goes in. Okay, so that is looking good. Not sticking to the hand at all. It's a little bit warped in here a bit. We can kind of fix that. Get some baby powder here a little bit. And try it one more time. Okay, looking good. Looking good. Alright, so now basically we let this sit for a day, and then could come back and sand it down, clean up the baby powder, and then we just got to start matching the paint. Alright guys, it's the next day and I sanded down the area. I'm not completely sure if I actually missed anything, like if it's not completely smooth. Even though I run my finger over it, it does look smooth. But the chip is fixed, as you can see. I did sand a little bit of the base paint away up there, but that's not an issue because it's such a small area. Got to just kind of touch it up. So go over to the airbrush booth. I try to find a match of the color of the best color I could possibly get to match this up now. And then what I'll have to do is I'll have to clear coat it with the Duplicolor car clear coat out of a can, only because this piece is going up in here. And you got to kind of secure the paint a little bit because it's going in and out, and you don't want to mess it up because it's not like factory paint that's probably got lead in it. So once I get all that sealed up, it should be pretty to go, and then I could just dull it down a little bit with some dull coat. But this is pretty much where we're at now, and let's just try to get this paint matched up. Alright guys, so I'm ready to pretty much patch this up. I'm going to have to do it off camera because I'm going to be going at an angle. I can't really get the camera going over here because the head's going to block it. So I'm pretty much going to try to match it up as best as I can. I got garage kits, flash, I got the pale flash, and I got bronze flash. I'm going to be using these mostly. I might have to use some white mixture. It's kind of, I'll be mixing it in my airbrush cup while I'm painting. So it's kind of hard to film this, and plus, you know, because I'm going to be going like this, you know, really slow and everything, and I don't want to try to get in with the camera and kind of mess this up. But I'm just giving you guys an idea of the paints I'll be using, and then once I get it all matched up, we'll come back, and I'll show you how I seal it up and everything. Okay guys, so I matched up the paint as best as I could. I did some touch-ups a little bit, kind of blending it together so it's kind of all one nice spot, and it looks pretty good. It's as close as possible I'm going to get to the factory paint colors. So what I also do now is, because you can kind of see this is shiny, this is flat, that's because of the paint I use. And like I always say, these factory paint ups, even though they say there's no lead in it, it's got to have lead in it, because whenever I strip down enamel paints from the cans that we have in America to these acrylic paints, the way it breaks down in acetone is very different compared to the way these break down. It's like when these break down, it's still layered around the statue and it comes off like it's got to have lead. I don't know, they probably BSing us that there's no lead in it, but there probably is. But whatever, it doesn't make a difference. We'll be fine as long as you don't lick the statues. And then, so what I do now is I just clear coat it with Duplicolor Match. The stuff you spray very heavy, it's going to look like a car paint clear coat on it, which I don't want to do, but I kind of mist it on just to give it some security, and it gives a little bit of a sheen. And then once that kind of sets, I do some flat top coat just to dull it down again, and that kind of gives me that factory paint a little bit. It also actually makes sure it's secured too as well. It's the best option I've come up with so far without trying to use enamels, because I don't like using enamels, and if you mess up with enamels, it's just a pain, and it's just my thing. You know, we all have different tastes and ways of working stuff. So I'm going to go in the garage, I'll kind of clear coat it, I'll flat coat it too once it's all done, and we'll come back with the final video. Alright guys, we're all back and he's all finished up. Sealed, flat coated, and paint matched as close as possible. So we have the chip filled in. We also have the crack secured a little bit more. So now it's a little bit better than what it was, and it's looking like it came out of the factory almost. I got it matched it up as best as I could. Fixes like this, generally, the fix is in the sense where you have to sculpt easy. It's the paint that's the matching is a problem, because like I tell a lot of people that might send me emails saying, hey, can you repair this? Can I repair it myself? Some things you can get away with. Like, you know, if there was a chip on the black, you could kind of sand it down and use a nice flat, smooth paint with a paintbrush to kind of match it up, and you can get away with something like that. But when it comes to flesh tones or maybe some detailed color outfit, you got to kind of blend it out with an airbrush. You can't really get away with painting with a paintbrush. Sometimes you can, sometimes you can't. It's, you know, like every damage and repair I do is always different, so it's never ever the same. You know, a chip like this with that little bit of a crack, you could fix the chip, but if you didn't seal the crack and somebody puts in the, you know, the glove with this piece and knocks it, it just might knock it back out again. But now that whole crack is secured. If it was just a little bit of a chip, I wouldn't have to gone all further. But you know, everything's different. You never know. It's you have a base idea what to do, but it's always, you know, trying to figure out the best option to fix that specific damage or crack or whatever. But got it as close as I possibly could, and I'm happy with it. So simple little fix, and ready to go. Now, if you look in the inside, with a lot of repairs and stuff, kind of get up a little bit closer here. If you look in the inside of here, as you can see, it's kind of messy in there, but whenever I do repairs and stuff, you just really can't, there's no sense of trying to fix the inside that's not going to be seen, because if you do that, you're just messing it up even more, because this is going to scrape that kind of paint, and it's just going to get messy. But it doesn't really matter when something in the inside you're not going to see anyway. So as I tell people a lot of times, when you do repairs like this, if it's something you're not going to see with, you know, a head going into an area, or the arms covering or something, those chips and scratches, you just gotta let it go. There's nothing you can do with it. But this is repaired though, and you know, you don't even see the inside of the wrist, so it doesn't matter. So that's just some simple little repair. Hopefully you guys liked the video, and we'll be back with more. Thanks for watching.